the 10th year of our marriage. My husband, Xiao Jing'an, brought back a woman, claiming she was his cinnabar mole. I smiled and said, then my husband should simply bring her into the mansion. A cinnabar mole? Is that so? Then I shall crush her into mosquito blood. The 13th day of the 5th month in the 20th year of the Zhengde era. The gardenias were in full bloom, their fragrance filling the entire courtyard. A gentle breeze blew by, seeming to carry a hint of restlessness. I stood at the door with the housekeeper and my maidservant, eagerly awaiting his return. Today was the day my husband, Jiangzhou Transport Commissioner Xiao Jing'an, was returning home. A few days ago, one of Xiao Jing'an's distant aunts passed away. Since they were both in Jiangzhou, the news of her death was reported to our mansion. Xiao Jing'an left immediately with his servant to attend the funeral. Before we knew it, he had been gone for nearly half a month. The carriage stopped in front of the Xiao mansion. As the curtain was lifted, Xiao Jing'an, dressed in a blue robe, stepped out of the carriage. He was tall and slender, with jet black hair and a scholarly air about him. I was about to step forward to greet him, but he turned back and reached into the carriage. My heart sank. Moments later, a pair of delicate, white hands emerged and rested on Xiao Jing'an's hand, and a woman stepped out gracefully. The woman was dressed in a snow-white gown, looking very young, with willow-shaped eyebrows and almond-shaped eyes. A truly beautiful appearance. Xiao Jing'an held the woman with extraordinary tenderness, as if she were a precious jewel. My hands clenched tightly inside my wide sleeves, my sharp nails digging into the palms of my hands. Jing'an, you're finally back. We've been waiting for you for so long. I lowered my eyes and took a few steps forward. Smiling gently, Xiao Jing'an turned around and smiled warmly at me. Madam, this is Ilian. She is the younger sister of my aunt's family. My expression froze for a moment. Then I forced a smile and said, since she is the younger sister you brought back, she should be treated well. Xiao Jing'an nodded in satisfaction and said, let's go inside and talk. All right. The group entered the front hall. After exchanging a few polite words, Xiao Jing'an got straight to the point. Madam, Ilian's maiden name is Zhang. We had a connection in the past. I sneered inwardly but kept my expression calm, continuing to smile gracefully. Then my husband should take her into the household. Xiao Jing'an's face lit up with a smile. You truly understand me, my lady. In that case, I will leave the matter of Ilian to you. This is my duty. There is no need for you to be so formal. I raised the corners of my lips slightly, the most standard smile of a noble woman. All right. I will go to the study to handle the accumulated official business first. I will come to your courtyard later tonight. I tightened my grip on his hand and said, my lord has just taken a concubine today. Naturally, you should go to her first. You can't neglect her on her first day in the household. Xiao Jing'an laughed heartily. My lady is so considerate. In that case, I will visit you tomorrow. Xiao Jing'an held Zhang Yilian's hand and walked out of the courtyard. I watched their departing figures, my eyes reddening. Once upon a time, he had held my hand like that, carefully and tenderly, as if I were a precious treasure. It's only been 10 years. I waved to the maid Chuanhe by my side. Go find out more about this new concubine. Chuanhe left immediately. I dismissed the attendants. I am the eldest daughter of Marquis Xianping, and Xiao Jing'an is the second son of the Marquis of Wuan. The Marquis Xianping holds great power, while the Wuan Marquis is merely a retired nobleman. Back then, when the two families arranged the marriage, everyone in the capital was puzzled. But I knew the truth. My father had once had several dealings with Xiao Jing'an and recognized him as a man of great potential. He had even recommended him for promotion on several occasions in court. Back then, Xiao Jing'an was grateful for my father's recognition and, after meeting me, was so captivated that he came to propose marriage. promising not to take a concubine until he was 40. It was for this reason that my father, who loved me deeply, finally agreed to the marriage. Yet now, just 10 years have passed. I already have a son and a daughter. Yet Xiao Jing'an has long forgotten his vows. I stood by the window, staring blankly at the jasmine flowers outside. After a moment, I pressed a handkerchief to the corner of my eye. Xiao Jing'an and I had once shared loving days. It was shortly after we were married. One morning, he volunteered to draw my eyebrows for me. I looked at him skeptically. "You know how to draw eyebrows?" He assured me confidently, "Drawing eyebrows is no big deal. How could your husband not know how to do it?" I believed him and let him go ahead. After a while, I looked at the bronze mirror and saw two thick, crooked lines on my face. I was so embarrassed I started crying. He apologized softly. "My dear, it's all my fault. Let me wipe it off for you. Don't cry. I'll take you out to play later." After a lot of coaxing, he finally made me stop crying. He took me all over the streets of the capital city. He bought me all sorts of delicious foods and toys. He took me to temple fairs and lantern festivals. When there were many people, he held my hand tightly. So tightly it hurt a little. I playfully scolded him for hurting me. And he laughed and said, "I have to hold on tight, or else someone might kidnap you." At that moment, I thought to myself, marriage is actually more carefree than being unmarried. It seems my father had good taste after all. I didn't marry the wrong man. Later, I became pregnant. He no longer took me out, but he still brought back anything fun or delicious he found. During my pregnancy, I pretended to suggest taking a concubine or having a mistress. He firmly refused, saying he had promised my father he wouldn't take a concubine until he was 40 and childless. At that time, my heart was as sweet as honey. Later, my father saw that he was always playing around and not taking things seriously. He used his connections to promote him further in the court. He then became very busy, working day and night without rest. I felt sorry for him and personally prepared soup and other dishes to bring to him. He held my hand and said sincerely, "My lady, you've gone to so much trouble for me. After a few years, I will definitely make it up to you." I smiled and replied, "What are you saying? You're working so hard for our family." He laughed heartily and said, "They say one should marry a virtuous woman, and the ancients were indeed wise." I blushed, but deep down, I felt a hint of pride. After I gave birth to our youngest daughter, my father used his connections to secure him the position of Transport Commissioner of Jiangzhou. He kept his promise and took me and the children with him when he was transferred to Jiangzhou. In the past 2 years, he hasn't shown any signs of straying. In Jiangzhou, my life became increasingly comfortable. But this time, I simply couldn't make sense of it. And he showed no intention of explaining himself to me. Before I went to bed, Chuanhe returned. She leaned close to my ear and whispered, "Madam, Lady Zhang is the niece of the Lady of Jiangzhou. Master stayed at her house for a while when he was young, and that's when their feelings began. However, because Miss Zhang's status was too low, my husband never mentioned it again after returning to the capital. A few days ago, my husband went to attend a funeral, and Lady Zhang, who had recently become a widow, was staying at her parents' home. After a few encounters, my husband's old feelings were rekindled." When she finished, Chuanhe couldn't help but mutter under her breath, "My husband is really something. Bringing a widow into our home. It's really..." I replied with a frosty expression, "He's becoming more and more disrespectful." Chuanhe heard this, lowered her head, and dared not say another word. "What about the young master and the young lady?" I asked after a long pause. "The young master came by after school, but you didn't allow anyone to enter, so the maid sent him back first." The young lady also came looking for you in the afternoon. But the maids had her carried away to play. She played all afternoon, ate dinner, and then fell asleep. Chunha replied softly. You may all withdraw. I need to think this through carefully. I waved my hand. That night, I stood by the window for the entire night. The next day, Xiao Chen and Xiao Yuan came to pay their respects. The bloodshot veins in my eyes finally gave way to a faint smile. Mother, are you feeling better? Xiao Chen bowed respectfully and asked. Since the servants had told him yesterday that the lady was exhausted and had a headache, he couldn't help but ask eagerly upon seeing her today. Mother, let Yuan help you massage. The 4-year-old girl Xiao Yuan also came over and burrowed into my arms. The smile on my face grew even wider as I spoke softly. Mother is fine. I'm feeling much better. I just felt sleepy yesterday and went to rest early. Did Chin finish his homework yesterday? Was Yuan being naughty? The 2 children snuggled up beside me, chatting in their high-pitched voices. It was a scene of unspoken warmth. At that moment, Xiao Jing'an entered with Zhang Yilian. Seeing this scene, Xiao Jing'an seemed to pause for a moment. The 2 children, upon seeing Xiao Jing'an, rushed over happily. Xiao Jing'an picked one up in each arm and asked about their recent activities. He had completely forgotten about Zhang Yilian. Seeing this, I flashed a glance but smiled and said nothing. Zhang Yilian, however, remained composed, standing aside with a smile as she watched the father and 2 children. After a long while, Xiao Jing'an put down the 2 children, walked over to a nearby chair, sat down, and cleared his throat. Ilian, serve the lady some tea. Zhang Yilian finally took the teacup from the maid's hands and bowed gracefully. I had already swallowed my anger yesterday, so how could I make things difficult for her here? She calmly accepted the tea, took a sip, and said a few words of admonishment. The matter was settled. Xiao Jing'an remained silent throughout. At this point, he stood up, patted his sleeves, and said, I'll be leaving now. The 2 of them escorted him out of the main courtyard. Turning around, I said to Zhang Yilian in a calm tone, Aunt Zhang, you may go rest. I won't be attending to you for now. Zhang Yilian paused for a moment before gracefully stepping back. As soon as she stepped aside, Xiao Chen and Xiao Yuan surrounded me. Xiao Yuan asked me in confusion, Mother, who is she? Xiao Chen, who had already started reading and understood some things, frowned and said, She is the new concubine your father has taken. Yuan, stay away from her in the future. Xiao Yuan blinked her eyes, not understanding. Brother, why? Xiao Chen said seriously, Because she's not pretty. If you spend too much time with her, you'll become ugly too. Xiao Yuan said in a clear voice, But I think she's pretty. Is she prettier than Mother? Xiao Chen rolled his eyes. Xiao Yuan shook her head, Of course not. Mother is the prettiest. That's right. Xiao Yuan thought her brother's words made sense and nodded firmly. I watched the 2 of them interact and smiled to myself. My heart was filled with warmth. Madam, what do you plan to do about this concubine Zhang? Chunha asked anxiously. Xiao Jing'an has been staying in concubine Zhang's room ever since he returned. There were a few days when he came to the main courtyard, but I refused him on the pretext of feeling unwell. I don't like sharing a man with others. It's disgusting. I smiled. The letters sent to the family should have arrived by now. Right? Chunha nodded, Yes. It should be here by now. Then we'll just have to wait a little longer. I said indifferently. But, Madam, what if she's pregnant? Chunha couldn't understand why the madam could remain so calm. Don't worry. It'll be fine. I have everything under control. I patted Chunha's hand and asked, Did you make the tonic soup for the master these past few days? Yes. He drank it all. Good. Then there's no need to worry. Did you add something to the soup? Does Zhang Yilian want to get pregnant? Haha. That depends on whether she has the fate for it. Half a month later, my elder brother He Wangyue arrived in Jiangzhou. I looked at my brother, who had suddenly arrived. With surprise, brother. Why are you here? My brother's eyes darkened. Then he smiled. I was passing through Jiangzhou on official business and came to see you. Where is your brother-in-law? Jingyan went to the yamen. I'll have someone call him back. Chuan-he. Quickly go get the young lady and bring her here to see her uncle. My joy was genuine. It had been 2 years since I last saw my family, and I missed them dearly. We had married my elder brother to the front hall, where we all took our seats. How has my younger sister been these past 2 years? My elder brother asked with concern. You've grown so thin. Is it because you're not used to the food here? My eyes welled up with tears. No. It's because you missed me so much. You're just saying that because you're worried about me. As we spoke, the wet nurse entered, carrying Xiao Yuan in her arms. I quickly took my daughter into my arms and pointed at my older brother, saying, Yuaner, hurry up and call your uncle. This is the uncle who brought you the big horse last New Year's. Xiao Yuan remembered the big horse. It was a wooden horse half a person's height. She played with it every day. Uncle. Thank you for the big horse. Yuaner loves it so much. Xiao Yuan said, then tried to crawl from my arms into her uncle's arms. Seeing this, I laughed, patted my little daughter's bottom, and teased, you little flatterer. My older brother laughed heartily, picked up Xiao Yuan, and held her high in the air. As they played, Xiao Jingyan hurried back. There was a round of greetings and pleasantries. Seeing that it was time for lunch, I smiled and led everyone to the dining hall. I turned back and quietly instructed Chuan-he. Go call Aunt Zhang over. It's a family meal, we can't leave her out. At the entrance to the dining hall, the group bumped into Zhang Yilian. Zhang Yilian hurriedly curtsied. My elder brother's brows furrowed tightly as he looked at Xiao Jingyan, brother-in-law. What is this? Xiao Jingyan's eyebrows also furrowed slightly as he coldly asked Zhang Yilian, what are you doing here? Zhang Yilian timidly glanced at him and replied in a soft voice, the lady sent me here. Xiao Jingyan's gaze shifted back to me. I smiled gently and said, I thought it would be nice for the family to eat together. It wouldn't be right to leave Aunt Zhang alone. My elder brother's expression darkened further. Brother-in-law, you haven't answered my question. I interjected. Brother, this is the concubine that Jingyan took in a few days ago. My elder brother's face flushed with anger as he glared at Xiao Jingyan. Xiao Jingyan, do you have an explanation for this? Brother, you. Don't do this. I timidly reached out to pull my brother's sleeve, but he roughly pushed me away and pointed at me, shouting, it's only been a few years, and you've already become so cowardly? Where is the dignity of our family? He, Xiao Jingyan, promised our father that he wouldn't take a concubine until he was 40 and childless. Now, after just a few years, he can't even wait? A shadow of gloom flashed across Xiao Jingyan's face, but he eventually bowed his head and admitted his mistake, eldest brother. It was my fault. Don't be angry. I also reached out to pull his sleeve and whispered, eldest brother. My husband has his reasons. Lady Zhang and my husband have a long-standing affection for each other. Don't be so hard on him. You're making things difficult for him? You don't even know right from wrong anymore. Do you? Xiao Jingyan, you must give me an explanation today, or else I'll take my sister back to the He family. His tone grew even harsher. Seeing this, I felt tears welling up in my eyes, and I covered my face and began to cry. Xiao Jingyan's expression grew even more grim, but his posture lowered slightly, eldest brother. I was truly in the wrong. I admit it. You may strike or scold me as you see fit, But please do not make things difficult for Yuxuan. Upon hearing this, the elder brother swung his fist toward Xiao Jing'an. Xiao Jing'an's face paled, and he dodged awkwardly. My elder brother's fist struck the pillar behind Xiao Jing'an. With a loud crash, the pillar shook, leaving a deep fist mark. My elder brother withdrew his hand and said coldly, "Do you think you can withstand my punch?" Xiao Jing'an's face turned pale. My elder brother led the way into the dining hall, sat down on the chair in the center, and said, "Speak. How do you intend to resolve this matter?" Xiao Jing'an remained silent. Zhang Yilian trembled and huddled behind Xiao Jing'an, dared not utter a word. I lowered my eyelids to hide the mockery in my eyes and wiped the reddened corners of my eyes with a handkerchief. Beneath the handkerchief, a meaningful smile flickered. "You won't say it, will you? Then I'll say it. I'll take this woman to the capital tomorrow." "No." Almost as soon as my elder brother finished speaking, Xiao Jing'an hurriedly interjected. My elder brother's expression darkened instantly. "Then what do you intend to do?" Xiao Jing'an remained silent for a moment before saying, "She has already followed me. I cannot possibly send her away again. Let my elder brother keep me as a plaything in the back courtyard." His elder brother sneered. "What you're saying is nonsense." "Humph. Fine. 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 Xiao Jing'an, you have guts." Xiao Jing'an didn't respond. For a moment, the room fell silent. His elder brother stood up and paced around the room before punching the wall. Finally, he coldly said, "She must not be allowed to have children. This is my bottom line. Otherwise, I will take Yuxuan and the child back to the He family." Zhang Yilian heard this and turned pale, reaching out to grab Xiao Jing'an's sleeve. Xiao Jing'an seemed not to feel it and looked up, replying, "Fine." His older brother's expression softened slightly. Seeing that neither of them was speaking, I stepped forward and said, "Let's eat first. Chuan-he, hurry up and have someone serve the meal." The meal was tasteless. After dinner, Xiao Jing'an and I sent my older brother to the guest quarters, then returned to the main courtyard together. "Jing'an, my older brother has a hot temper. Don't take it to heart," I said softly. Xiao Jing'an stopped in his tracks, his expression dark. Xiao Jing'an snorted through his nose and said, "You go rest. I have official business to attend to. I'll be staying in the study tonight." With that, he turned and left without waiting for my response. I watched Xiao Jing'an's retreating figure and whispered to myself, "Is that all it takes? But this is just the beginning." Xiao Jing'an. The next day, after Xiao Jing'an went to the yamen, I took the two children to the guest quarters. After dismissing everyone, I threw myself into my elder brother's arms and cried softly. My elder brother patted my back tenderly and said in a deep voice, "Why don't you come back with me? Let's divorce." I choked out, "I won't. What's mine? What's the children's? I'll take it all back." My brother sighed softly. "All right. Do as you wish. Whatever you need, just ask your brother or parents. Remember, we will always be your strongest support. Okay." With my brother's comfort, I felt much better. Did my brother bring the things I asked for? He did. I'll give them to you secretly later. Don't let anyone see. I know that. I'm not stupid. You're not stupid. But in my opinion, we should have killed that woman. I smiled bitterly. Even if we did that, there would be others. Why bother? I want to eliminate the problem completely. All right. I'll do as you say. Just be careful. Otherwise, I won't feel at ease. When I go back, I'll talk to father and find someone to transfer Xiao Jing'an back to the capital. Only then will we be at ease. All right. After we finished discussing the important matters, I had the wet nurse bring the 2 children in to pay respects to my elder brother. With the children's laughter filling the air, the atmosphere lightened considerably. My elder brother stayed for 3 days before leaving. The day after he left, I went out and brought back a beautiful young woman. I took her straight to Xiao Jingan's study. Xiao Jingan looked at me, who had come uninvited, and furrowed his brows. Due to my brother's domineering nature, Xiao Jingan had been treating me with increasing coldness lately. "Husband," I said softly as I greeted him. Is there something you need?" Xiao Jingan asked softly, but his eyes were filled with reproach. "My brother is a rough man, and he loves me dearly, so he may not always choose his words careful." "Why?" "Husband, don't be angry because of that. It would break my heart if you were to leave me." His hidden emotions were exposed, and Xiao Jingan felt a little embarrassed. He covered his mouth with his hand and coughed lightly, saying, "What are you saying, my lady? How could I be such a narrow-minded person?" I raised the corners of my lips. "Yes. I am too superficial." "Husband, you wouldn't hold such a thing against me." "Husband, this is Yin Yang. Her father said he wanted to send her to you as a concubine. I thought she looked quite nice, so I agreed on your behalf. What do you think, husband?" Xiao Jingan's furrowed brows relaxed, and he glanced at Yin Yang with a hint of a smile. "Whatever you decide is fine with me." "All right. Then I'll take Yin Yang to settle in." "Husband, don't work too hard. I'll go to the kitchen later and stew some soup for you to replenish your strength." My eyes were filled with concern. Xiao Jingan was soothed by her kind words, and the depression he had been feeling for the past few days dissipated. "All right. Go do what you need to do. I'll come see you later." By evening, I had the lanterns in the courtyard lit. I prepared a feast of fine wine and dishes for Xiao Jingan. When Xiao Jingan entered the courtyard and saw the scene, the satisfaction in his eyes grew even more. The 2 of them sat down. I dismissed the servants and poured wine for Xiao Jingan myself. "My lord, this is the finest Dukong wine. My elder brother brought it back from Dukong County a few days ago. He insisted on giving it to me instead of you, and warned me that it has a strong aftertaste. So don't drink too much." Upon hearing this, Xiao Jingan felt a pang of guilt. He took my hand and said, "It was my lack of consideration that caused you such trouble." "My lord, what are you saying? We are husband and wife. I naturally only have your interests at heart." "Very well. Very well. You truly are the wife of Xiao Jingan." Xiao Jingan felt soothed by her words and laughed heartily as he drank the cup. The wine was excellent, and after a single cup, Xiao Jingan felt refreshed and invigorated. My eyes grew slightly somber, but they soon brightened with a smile. I poured another cup and said, "Come, my lord. I toast you. May our marriage be harmonious." Xiao Jingan smiled and drank the cup in one gulp. After 3 rounds of wine, Xiao Jingan felt a slight buzz. "Yuxian, is there anything you desire?" I will buy it for you." I teased. "We're an old married couple. What do we need those things for?" However, the 2 jade shops on Fengyang Street have some exquisite trinkets. Yuaner really likes them. Why don't you give those 2 shops to Yuaner as her dowry?" Xiao Jingan waved his hand generously. "No problem. I'll have the steward handle it tomorrow. I'll have the steward send you 10,000 taels of silver. These days have been busy, and you've gone to so much trouble." "Thank you, my lord. You truly treat me well." After dinner, Xiao Jingan wrapped his arms around my waist and tried to lead me into the inner room. I smiled lightly, pushed him back into the chair, and poured him a cup of clear tea. I knelt down, rested my head on his knees, just as I had done in the past. I said sadly, "My lord, it's my lack of fortune." This scene stirred up some memories in Xiao Jingan's heart. He gently stroked my head and asked, "What's wrong?" It was probably a lingering illness from when I gave birth to you, Honor. It didn't seem like much in the past few years. But now that I'm getting older, I've been feeling unwell lately, with persistent discomfort. I was afraid you would look down on me, so I never dared to tell you. Now, I'm afraid you'll think I'm unwilling, so I had to muster the courage to tell you. After a pause, seeing that Xiao Jing'an didn't respond, I continued, "Husband, let Yin Yang attend to you tonight. Otherwise, I'll feel uneasy. Go find a few good female doctors to take a look. You mustn't neglect your own health." Xiao Jing'an's voice grew even gentler. "All right." After sending Xiao Jing'an out of the courtyard, I stood motionless at the courtyard gate. Most of the lanterns in the courtyard had been extinguished, leaving only a few emitting a dim glow. The interplay of light and shadow cast ghostly shadows. But I seemed oblivious, gazing at Xiao Jing'an's retreating figure and slowly curving my lips into a perfectly composed smile. 3 months later, the autumn wind blew, and summer robes were replaced with autumn attire. Another night passed in the courtyard, and a thick layer of fallen leaves covered the ground. Chuanhe hurried into the main courtyard. "Madam." I looked up at Chuanhe and saw that she looked anxious and resentful, but she hesitated to speak. I understood and waved my hand to dismiss everyone. "What is it? Speak. Aunt Zhang seems to be pregnant, and she is already quite far along," Chuanhe said resentfully. I frowned. Since Zhang Yilian entered the mansion, Xiao Jing'an's medicine has never stopped, administered silently day after day. It's impossible for her to have conceived after entering the mansion. Then it must have been before she entered the mansion. Find a way to hint it to Yi Ai, so that Zhang Ai will expose herself. I waved my hand, not seeming too concerned. "Madam." Chuanhe stamped her feet. "All right. I have it under control. Go ahead." Seeing Chuanhe's expression, I smiled. Chuanhe had just reached the door when I called her back. "Send someone secretly to investigate Lady Zhang's hometown and her previous in-laws. Find out everything you can." "Yes." "And secretly tell them that Lady Zhang was pregnant with a posthumous child when she remarried." "Oh. And don't let Xiao Jing'an find out," I said indifferently. Chuanhe's eyes lit up, and she finally left with a smile. 3 days later, in the evening, I was having dinner with Xiao Jing'an when the mansion suddenly erupted into chaos. Chuanhe rushed in to report, "Madam, Lady Zhang and Lady Yi are fighting in the fragrant garden." The fragrant garden was Yi Ai's courtyard. My brows furrowed slightly, and I coldly asked, "What's going on?" Chuanhe glanced at Xiao Jing'an before saying, "It seems to be over a piece of cloth. Lady Zhang accidentally touched Lady Yi's stomach, and Lady Yi is now screaming in pain. Someone has already been sent to fetch a doctor. Such a trivial matter, a piece of cloth, is worth fighting over?" I slammed my chopsticks down angrily, clearly furious. Xiao Jing'an's expression was also grim, but he remained silent. After a moment, I took a deep breath and said, "I'll go take a look. Shall you come with me, my lord?" Xiao Jing'an nodded solemnly. As soon as we entered the Shangfang courtyard, the sound of wailing filled the air. Xiao Jing'an's brows furrowed even more deeply. Just then, the doctor who had been summoned hurried into the courtyard. I stepped aside to let the doctor go in first. Upon entering the east wing, I saw Yin Yang huddled on a chair, looking anxious and frightened, while Zhang Yang clutched her stomach, her face pale, moaning in pain. The old doctor took her pulse, then stroked his long beard solemnly and said, "How careless of you. You're pregnant and you hit your stomach. Fortunately, there is no serious harm. Take a few doses of medicine to stabilize the pregnancy and rest in bed for a few days, and she should be fine." Aunt Zhang's complexion finally improved slightly. However, my face was grim, and I shot a cold glance at Aunt Zhang and Xiao Jing'an. Xiao Jing'an felt uncomfortable under my gaze and looked away. After the old doctor left, before I could speak, Zhang Ai suddenly knelt down with a thud, banging her head on the ground several times. "Madam, please have mercy and spare this child. I am willing to be your servant for life to atone for this." My face was ashen, and I didn't look at Zhang Ai. I stared intently at Xiao Jing'an. "Husband, you promised my older brother that you wouldn't let her keep the child." Xiao Jing'an's face flushed with embarrassment. After a moment of silence, he said, "My lady has always been so generous." Before he could finish, I interrupted him. "Husband, I can tolerate your affection for other women. I can even tolerate you not coming to the main courtyard. But when it comes to the child, I simply cannot be generous. Husband." By the end, I covered my face and wept. Xiao Jing'an was startled. He rarely saw me cry. I had always been dignified, graceful, and composed in his presence. Now, I was crying openly in front of the concubine, which showed how truly heartbroken I was. "Well." Xiao Jing'an opened his mouth to speak. The sobbing voice of Zhang Ai came again. "Madam, my body has always been unable to conceive easily. This child might be the only one I will ever have in my lifetime. Please have mercy on me." After speaking, she turned to Xiao Jing'an. "Master, this is also your flesh and blood." Xiao Jing'an could no longer utter a word. A cold smile flashed across my face, hidden beneath my handkerchief. "Madam, now that things have come to this, we cannot ignore a life. I will take responsibility for this matter before my elder brother in the future." Xiao Jing'an made his final decision, meaning that no matter what, the child must be kept. A moment later, I wiped the tears from the corners of my eyes and left without a word. My eyes red. I didn't look at Xiao Jing'an once. Xiao Jing'an's eyes revealed a hint of heartache. This time, he didn't even look at Zhang's concubine, who was still kneeling on the ground, and followed me to the main courtyard. I returned to my own courtyard but didn't go into the house. Instead, I stood under a tree in the courtyard, staring blankly into space. The autumn wind blew, and the fallen leaves fluttered in the wind. The usually gentle and graceful beauty's face was tinged with light sorrow, making anyone who saw her feel heartbroken. Xiao Jing'an came running over and saw the scene. He also looked at the old tree and recalled the loving moments they had shared in the past. The guilt in his heart surged up instantly. Xiao Jing'an walked up, gently embraced me from behind, and said, "Madam, Yuxuan, I'm sorry for hurting you. My lady, Yuxuan, I'm sorry for causing you sorrow." My body stiffened slightly, and a fleeting expression of disgust flashed across my face before quickly fading away. I remained still, allowing him to hold me. After a moment, I sighed softly. "My lord, I want to return to the capital. I miss my father, mother, and brother." Xiao Jing'an paused, then held me tighter. "Send more New Year's gifts back home. In a few more years, I should be able to transfer back to the capital." I missed my parents, but I feared being separated from my husband even more. "Husband, I'm truly heartbroken," I murmured softly. "Madam, I'm so sorry. This time, it was my fault for breaking my promise. But that child is still alive." Xiao Jing'an kept apologizing, but he didn't budge. I turned to look at Xiao Jing'an and sighed deeply again. "Never mind. He is still your child. How could I bring myself to take his life? Let him be born and be a playmate for Chinner or Yuaner." Xiao Jing'an smiled when he heard this. "Yes, that's right. Husband, a few days ago, the wife of the prefect of Jiangzhou mentioned a business opportunity to me. I think it's feasible. Once this child is born, Yin Yang can have a few more children in the future. Our household will grow larger. And we'll need to earn more silver. I changed the subject. Xiao Jing'an smiled upon hearing this. Go ahead and do it. Don't worry, your husband is here to support you. All right. But I don't have enough silver on hand. I'll need you to help me come up with some. I lowered my head. Looking shy. Xiao Jing'an, in a better mood, waved his hand. How much do you need? Go to the accounts office tomorrow and withdraw it. I spoke hesitantly. It's a bit much, 30,000 taels. Xiao Jing'an laughed. No problem. I thought it would be much more. I'll tell the accountant tomorrow. And you can go collect it. You don't need to tell me about such matters in the future. Just go collect it yourself. Thank you, husband. You don't even ask me what business I'm in. And you're not afraid I'll lose everything. I pouted. Haha. What's there to be afraid of? It's only 30,000 tael. You don't even care if you lose it. Then I can rest easy. I smiled brightly. Are you feeling better these days? Xiao Jing'an asked suggestively, lowering his head. My face flushed. Then turned sorrowful. I've taken a lot of medicine. But I still don't feel any better. After saying that, I looked up at Xiao Jing'an timidly. Xiao Jing'an's heart fluttered. Hearing that there was no improvement, he felt a little disappointed. I smiled and said, now that Lady Zhang is pregnant, it must be inconvenient for her to serve you. With me like this, I'm spoiling your mood. Why don't you go to Lady Zhang's room? She's been working hard these past few days. Xiao Jing'an heard these thoughtful words, and the slight displeasure in his heart dissipated. He smiled and said, all right. I'll go then. You should rest early. Madam. Yes. Be careful on the way. And have someone bring a few more lanterns. I gently reminded Xiao Jing'an from behind. All right. No need to see me off. Go inside and rest well. You need to recover soon. As soon as I entered the room, my expression darkened. Xiao Jing'an has been taking the medicine for several months now. Yet he still has such enthusiasm. What went wrong? It seems I need to take more drastic measures. After thinking for a moment, I got up and rummaged through the trunk to find the items my elder brother had brought over. Chuan-he. Bury these in the soil of the orchid in Xiao Jing'an's study. Don't let anyone find them. Also, sprinkle them on Yi's clothes and utensils. I said coldly. Chuan-he quietly took the items and replied softly. Half a month later, on a night, Chuan-he tiptoed into the inner chamber. Madam, the master just secretly called the doctor. I paused in combing my hair, a faint smile appearing on my lips. It seems the medicine is taking effect. Once the doctor leaves the mansion, send someone to discreetly inquire about the situation. Yes. After a moment, Chuan-he added, the people sent to Zhang Ai's hometown have returned. The matter has been settled. Zhang Ai's former in-laws are on their way here and should arrive in a few days. Delay them for a month and let them come later. I said slowly. Yes. Today has been full of good news. It seems our good days are finally coming. The smile on my face grew wider. You're such a good lady, you shouldn't have to live such a miserable life. Chuan-he muttered under her breath. I laughed. You're good at flattery. I'm speaking the truth. I chuckled. Good people never get rewarded. Only those with a ruthless heart can seize what they desire. The next morning, Chuan-he came secretly. Madam. The master. The master. He can't perform. By the end, Chuan-he's face was flushed red. After all, she was still an unmarried maid. I smiled lightly. All right. I know. This matter must not be discussed outside. Yes. Mistress. I understand. Mistress. Is it because of the medicine? Before Chuan-he could finish, She caught my mocking glance and quickly lowered her head. Dared not say another word. Chuin-he. You've been with me for so many years. You should know what to say and what not to say. Wcast her way otter. My voice grew colder. Yes. This servant knows she was wrong. I will go downstairs to receive my punishment. Go ahead. But don't make the same mistake again. Xiao Jingyan had been having a rough time lately. He was only in his late 20s. Still in the prime of his life. Since taking in Lady Zhang and Lady Yi as concubines, Xiao Jingyan had been indulging in nightly revelry, living a life of pleasure. But a few days ago, he suddenly lost all interest in intimate matters. He didn't think much of it, assuming he was just tired and needed some rest. But after resting for over 10 days, he still felt no desire, and he began to suspect something was amiss. One night, he secretly summoned a doctor. The old doctor took his pulse for half an hour before hesitantly asking about his symptoms. Xiao Jingyan described his symptoms with a grim expression. The old doctor wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and said after a long pause that it might be due to some deficiency in his body. Xiao Jingyan asked if it could be cured. The old doctor stammered that it would take time. In other words, he didn't know either. Xiao Jingyan sent the doctor away and sent someone to inquire about famous doctors in Jiangzhou Prefecture who specialized in this field. He invited 2 or 3 of them, but they all said the same thing. Xiao Jingyan was unwilling to give up and sent people to search for good doctors in neighboring prefectures and counties. Doctor after doctor came, but the results were all the same. A few offered different opinions, saying that his mother had been weak since he was in the womb, and after so many years of indulgence, it was only natural that problems would arise. After half a month of this, Xiao Jingyan's temper grew increasingly violent, but he also began to lose hope. Autumn seemed to pass in the blink of an eye. On the 18th of October, the first snow of winter fell in Jiangzhou Prefecture. I was holding Xiao Yuan in my arms, standing on the corridor watching the snow fall, when a young maid rushed into the courtyard. Chuinhe's eyes narrowed, and she quietly stepped back. Moments later, Chuinhe returned and approached me. Madam, the person arrived earlier. There was a commotion at the gate, and they went to Zhang's concubine's courtyard. I nodded slightly, gave Xiao Yuan a kiss on the cheek, and smiled. Have the wet nurse take you to eat some candied hawthorn. Only 1 piece. Though, your brother is taking the day off today, so we'll have a pot meal together at noon. Xiao Yuan, hearing she could eat candied haw and have hot pot for lunch, giggled and rushed into the wet nurse's arms. I gently patted her head. Don't be naughty. And don't go playing in the snow. You'll catch a cold. Mother. I know. I won't. I won't. Xiao Yuan replied, then urged the wet nurse to take her back to her courtyard. Once Xiao Yuan's small figure disappeared from sight, the smile on my face faded. I brushed my sleeves, about to speak, but was interrupted by the sound of hurried footsteps. Madam, madam. The housekeeper Lu came rushing in through the snow. I furrowed my brows and asked in a calm voice, what's the matter? Why are you so flustered? Lu Nyang took a few deep breaths, composed herself, and said, this morning, several people came to the gate, claiming to be relatives of Lady Zhang. They insisted on seeing her. I had someone take them through the side gate directly to Lady Zhang's courtyard. But as soon as Lady Zhang met them, they started causing a commotion. My expression grew colder. Then have them sent away. Can't you handle such a small matter? Lu Nyang wiped the sweat from her forehead and said tremblingly, those people said some shocking things. I thought I should report it to you. Madam. Oh. I raised my eyes to look at Lu Nyangzi. Those people were from Lady Zhang's former in-law's family. They said the child Lady Zhang is carrying is their family's posthumous child. I furrowed my brows, paused for a moment, then said, Chuinhe, Let's go see what's going on. Send someone else to the yamen to bring master back as well. Yes. Chuanhe replied respectfully. When I entered Lady Zhang's courtyard with my people, it was in complete chaos. An old woman sat on the ground in the side room, wailing. Son, look at what you've done. You insisted on marrying this good-for-nothing woman. Not only did she kill you, but now she's pregnant with your child and marrying someone else. What will become of your mother and father? An old man sat on a chair, his face twisted in sorrow, wiping away tears. Another tall man glared angrily at Aunt Zhang. Aunt Zhang's face turned pale, and she glared at the people in front of her with a fierce expression. What's going on? Chuanhe shouted. Madam. Aunt Zhang saw me and rushed forward, looking like a weeping willow. The woman's cries stopped, and the old man stopped wiping his tears. Everyone reacted differently, but all wore expressions of caution. I walked slowly to the main seat in the room and sat down before speaking coldly. I've heard a bit about the situation. Tell me what happened. Madam. Aunt Zhang spoke first. I gave her a cold glance. Did I give you permission to speak? After speaking, I turned my gaze to the tall man. You tell me. What happened? The man seemed startled for a moment, then bowed respectfully and said, Madam, I am Sun Jishio. The deceased husband of Zhang Yilian was my cousin. Those two are her former mother-in-law and former father-in-law. More than 3 months ago, my cousin passed away. Zhang Yilian fainted from grief and was taken to a doctor, who discovered she was pregnant. Her uncle and aunt, though heartbroken, were also overjoyed and indulged her every whim. She used her poor mood as an excuse to return to her maternal home for a short stay. From then on, she never returned. Her uncle and aunt, thinking of the child in her womb, sent gifts to the Zhang mansion every few days. The gifts were accepted, but she never showed up. It wasn't until a month ago, while delivering gifts, that they accidentally overheard a conversation and learned that Zhang Yilian had already left the Zhang mansion. Her uncle and aunt gathered the clan's relatives and went to the Zhang mansion to make a scene, only to discover that Zhang Yilian was pregnant and had remarried. The elderly couple couldn't accept this. They inquired about her new address and rushed over. To spare Zhang Yilian's dignity, we only referred to ourselves as her maternal relatives at the mansion's gate. But as soon as we entered her courtyard, she drove us out. When my aunt mentioned the child in her womb, she denied it vehemently, claiming it was her current husband's child and that there had never been any child before. They must have mistaken. The man finished speaking and bowed respectfully. Zhang Yi's face turned pale as she cried, Madam, you can't believe their one-sided words. This child is the master's. How could it be a posthumous child? I pressed my temples and said, I can't make this decision. I've already sent someone to fetch the master. We'll wait for him to arrive before making a final decision. But no matter what, we won't let an innocent person be wronged. After speaking, I turned to the others and said, Please sit down. There is no need to cry or make a scene. The Xiao family is not unreasonable. Chuanhe, bring some snacks and tea for them. After waiting for about 15 minutes, Xiao Jingyan hurriedly entered the room. His face was dark as he surveyed everyone in the room, then sat down silently beside me. I personally poured him a bowl of tea and handed it to him. My lord, please don't worry. Have a sip of tea and rest. Zhang's concubine is innocent. Xiao Jingyan glanced at me, his expression softening slightly. He took the tea bowl and sipped it gently before asking, What happened? I replied in a gentle tone, I only overheard a few words earlier. Whether it's true or not, my lord must judge for yourself. After speaking, I turned to Sun Jishio and said, Mr. Sun, please recount the matter to our master once more. Sun Jishio nodded, rose, bowed to Xiao Jingyan, and repeated what he had said earlier. Xiao Jing'an's face turned as dark as a pot bottom. He coldly looked at Zhang Ai and asked, "What do you have to say?" Zhang Ai cried tearfully, crawling on her knees to Xiao Jing'an's feet. "Master, don't you know me? After all these years together, how could I do something so dishonorable to you? Master, I'm innocent. Please avenge me." Xiao Jing'an looked at the woman he had once loved in his youth, and a wave of disgust and frustration welled up inside him. In his youth, he had longed for her, and when he finally obtained her, he was overjoyed. The love between them was genuine. However, this joy and passion faded over time. Before returning to the mansion, he had visited an old doctor in the city to inquire about the matter of conceiving a child. The old doctor had said this: "Your body has been depleted for a long time. Your recent lack of interest is a symptom of an underlying condition that has been building up for years. As for whether you can make a woman pregnant, it's hard to say. However, based on my years of experience, it's highly unlikely." Xiao Jing'an thought of his own wife. Since giving birth to their daughter, she had not conceived again. She had always been considerate, attributing it to complications from childbirth. But at that moment, Xiao Jing'an began to doubt himself. Zhuang's concubine was still sobbing, "Master, these people are so cruel. When I was in their family, they treated me terribly. Now they're slandering me. Master, you must avenge me. Back then, I waited for you for years until I became an old maid. My mother had no choice but to marry me off in a hurry. Enough! Don't you know what you've done?" Xiao Jing'an grew even angrier when he heard Zhang's words and snapped at her. Zhang was stunned by his words. A hint of a smile flashed across my eyes. What a fool! Now that things have come to this, she still brings up the past, reminding Xiao Jing'an of his ingratitude? Humph. And does she really think Xiao Jing'an would give up his reputation as an official for her? Mr. Son and Mrs. Son, I was unaware that Zhang Yilian was pregnant. I had assumed she had already severed all ties with you. Out of pity and considering our familial connection, I brought her back. Now that things have come to this, you may take her back." Xiao Jing'an cleared his throat and spoke in a gentle tone, playing the role of the innocent victim. Upon hearing this, Zhang Ai's eyes rolled back, and she nearly fainted. She felt a sharp pain in her abdomen, and an unknown liquid began to flow from between her legs. "Ah, blood! Ai is bleeding!" The maid beside Zhang Ai screamed piercingly. Seeing this, I hurriedly said, Quickly go fetch a doctor." Xiao Jing'an pointed to a servant beside him and said, "You run faster. Go." The servant nodded and ran off. Seeing this, I glanced around, said nothing, and slowly sat back down, picking up the tea and taking a small sip. The couple's surnamed son were panicking, sobbing softly. The man hurriedly comforted them. In an instant, the room was in complete chaos. The doctor was almost dragged in by the servant. At this point, Zhang's mistress was lying in a pool of blood, clutching her abdomen and screaming in pain. The doctor shook his head, took her pulse, and said, "Finally," he said bluntly, "there's nothing we can do. The child can't be saved. Call a midwife to massage her abdomen. I'll prescribe some medicine to expel the remaining contents." He muttered under his breath. A pregnant woman shouldn't be subjected to such a shock. This is terrible. Her body has been damaged, and she probably won't be able to have children again. Upon hearing this, Aunt Zhang fainted. The son couple burst into tears. I gave Chuanhe a nod, and she followed the old doctor out. Things have come to this, and there's nothing we can do. Why don't the three of you go to the guest quarters to rest first? Once Aunt Zhang regains consciousness, we can discuss how to proceed. After saying this, I turned to look at Xiao Jing'an. Husband, What do you think? Xiao Jing'an nodded. Sun Jishu helped the couple named Sun to their feet and thanked us. That's very kind of you. Sir and madam. I nodded and had someone take them away. I then turned around and had someone take care of Aunt Zhang. After all the commotion, things finally calmed down a bit. I left them with a parting wish to take good care of themselves. And Xiao Jing'an and I turned around and returned to the main courtyard. Chuanhe ran after us and whispered, Madam, the old doctor said that Lady Zhang's miscarriage was not only due to her own physical condition and emotional distress, but also because she used saffron. My steps halted, and I looked up at Xiao Jing'an. Xiao Jing'an had clearly heard as well, his expression darkening, but he remained silent. I said, Husband, lend me one of your men. I'll have Chuanhe send someone to investigate. Our mansion cannot tolerate such harmful and sordid affairs. Have the steward assign someone to you? Xiao Jing'an said indifferently. All right. Chuanhe, send someone to handle it. Yes. Upon entering the main courtyard, the two sat down separately. I finally spoke up and asked, Husband, how should we handle this matter? Xiao Jing'an coldly replied, Give the Sun family some silver to settle the matter. As for Zhang Yilian, send her back to the Zhang family. Such a woman cannot remain in our mansion. Then give Zhang's concubine some extra silver. After all, she has served you for so long. Not too much. The mansion has not treated her poorly in the past. All right. For a moment, the two of them looked at each other without speaking, and the atmosphere suddenly became heavy. Just then, Xiao Yuan came over, and the little girl chattered away, livening up the atmosphere again. The two of them played with Xiao Yuan for an hour. As it was almost time for dinner, Chuanhe and a young servant boy walked in. Master, Madam, there's news about that matter, Chuanhe reported in a low voice. Xiao Jing'an hummed in response, signaling her to continue. Chuanhe took a step back, motioning for the young servant to speak. Seeing this, the young servant said in a solemn voice, The medicine was administered by Lady E, who mixed it into the food. Lady E has already confessed. Xiao Jing'an shot me a cold glance. I pretended not to notice and gently furrowed my brows. This. Husband. Enough. You may go. Xiao Jing'an waved his hand at the young servant. After the servant left, Xiao Jing'an spoke coldly, Yin Yang cannot be spared either. Have her sold into slavery. Lady, you will handle this matter. I lowered my eyes and replied softly. All right. Is my lord tired? These things happened because I failed to manage the household properly. My lord should punish me. Xiao Jing'an softened his expression, My lady. There's no need to say such things to me. I know how good you are. This matter is in your hands. I have some official business to attend to. I'll head to the study first. My lord, please do not overwork yourself. I urged him as I saw him out the gate. Back in the room, I tapped my fingers on the table. Chuanhe, regarding Zhang Ai, do as Xiao Jing'an said. Give the Sun family some extra silver. As for Zhang Ai, since Xiao Jing'an said not to give too much, just give her a little. As for Yin Yang, arrange a fake birth certificate. Just save face for now. Once it's done, give her a large sum of silver and tell her not to show her face again. Yes. Madam. I don't understand. What about Zhang Yang's child? Chuanhe couldn't help but ask. I smiled lightly, the child is gone. Does it really matter whose it was? It only matters to them. That's true. We'll be returning to the capital soon. Just thinking about it makes me feel better. I sighed lightly. Yes. Let's just get these messy affairs over with quickly. Chuanhe echoed my sentiment. After Lady Zhang and Lady Yi left the mansion, the place became much quieter. Before we knew it, over a month had passed. I was standing by the window, trimming the branches of the potted flowers inside the house. Chuanhe leaned close to my ear and whispered, "Madam, the master has begun investigating our people." I smiled lightly. "Have you taken care of the loose ends?" "Yes. Everything is handled." "Then what are you afraid of? There are quite a few people involved. And I'm worried." "Don't worry. He'll soon be too busy to bother with this." I smiled faintly, but the coldness in my eyes was enough to send a chill down one's spine. Chuanhe, hearing this, dared not ask further. A few days before the new year, Xiao Jing'an said that an imperial decree had been issued, ordering him to return to the capital in advance. I was overjoyed. That's truly wonderful. It's been years since I've seen my family. "Husband, when shall we set off?" Xiao Jing'an's gaze held a hint of inquiry. "After the 15th of the first month. We'll depart." "Oh. Then I must hurry and instruct the servants to start packing. With such a large family, how could we possibly pack everything in such a short time?" With that, I cheerfully went to give orders. My behavior was as usual, showing no signs of anything amiss. Xiao Jing'an's brows furrowed slightly. Could it be that these matters really have nothing to do with his wife? With the journey back to the capital looming after the new year, this new year seemed rather dull. It was only the 10th day after the new year when I unexpectedly encountered envoys from the capital. I startled, then furrowed my brows. Upon seeing the envoys and hearing their purpose, my heart was thrown into turmoil. The eldest son of the Wuan Marquis, Xiao Jing'an's elder brother, had been severely beaten by someone over a dispute involving a courtesan before the new year. The doctor had advised preparing for the worst, and he was now clinging to life by a thread. As a result, the Wuan Marquis's wife had sent someone to rush to inform Xiao Jing'an, urging him to return to the capital immediately. I looked at Xiao Jing'an in disbelief. "Husband, what? Should we leave for the capital tomorrow? Our belongings are almost packed." Xiao Jing'an pondered for a moment and said, "I won't make it in time by carriage. This is what we'll do, you make arrangements for tomorrow morning. I'll take a few people and head back to the capital first. You and the children can follow later by carriage." I thought for a moment and agreed. Given the current situation, there was no other option. That night, Xiao Jing'an still did not return to the main courtyard. I packed my belongings and had someone take them out for the attendants. Late at night, when everything was quiet, I whispered a few words into Chuanhe's ear. Chuanhe paused for a moment, composed herself, and quietly left the room. The next morning, I rose early and personally saw Xiao Jing'an off on his journey. I gave him careful instructions and bid him a tearful farewell, doing everything I could to appear like a dutiful wife. Xiao Jing'an seemed to have put his doubts aside, and his expression softened slightly. He also instructed me to take good care of the children and hire several escort agencies for protection. He told me not to be afraid to spend money. I agreed to everything he said. Xiao Jing'an finally pulled the reins and rode off into the distance. I didn't rush to leave either. Instead, I rested for 2 more days, settled all the matters in Jiangzhou City, and then led everyone on their way. A month later, the capital city. As I stood at the gate of the Wuan Marquis mansion, I felt a sense of desolation. The gatekeeper, looking dejected, married us inside. As soon as I entered, I bumped into my mother-in-law, Zhou Shi. Upon seeing me and the 2 children, Zhou Shi's eyes welled up with tears. "You're finally back." Seeing this, I stepped forward and bowed respectfully. "Mother, your daughter-in-law is back." Before I could finish, Zhou Shi grabbed me and lifted me up. Zhou Shi cried, "You are also a child with a hard life." "Oh, my child." The smile on my face vanished. And I asked urgently, "Mother, what's wrong? Is something wrong with Jing'an?" Zosher cried even harder and said with a choked voice, "Let's go back to the courtyard. You go see for yourself." I pushed the child toward the wet nurse and hurried toward my own courtyard, not even noticing that I had left Zosher behind. As soon as I entered the courtyard gate, I heard Xiao Jing'an's roar, "Get out! All of you! Get out!" My steps faltered, but then I continued toward the side room as if nothing had happened. As soon as I reached the door, I saw a maid covering her face and clutching her disheveled sleeves as she ran out of the room. I twitched my lips. Even now, she was still thinking about that. Humph. The maid saw me, panicked, and knelt down with a thud. "Madam." I waved her away and told her to get up. Then I walked inside. "Husband, what happened to you?" I rushed to the bedside and asked loudly. Xiao Jing'an saw me and hurriedly grabbed my hand, saying, "Lady, go find a famous doctor for me. Spend as much silver as it takes. Just get my leg treated." "Husband, what's wrong with your leg?" I pretended to lift the blanket. Xiao Jing'an pressed me down and shouted angrily, "I told you to go find a doctor. Didn't you hear me?" I seemed to shrink back. "Husband, I." Zosher also walked in at this moment and said softly, "Nur, he sure was just trying to show concern for you." Xiao Jing'an frowned impatiently and said reluctantly, "All right. I know." I pressed further. "Husband, what happened to your leg?" Zosher wiped away tears and said, "Nur returned in a hurry. When he was just 10 miles from the city, his horse suddenly bolted, and he fell off, breaking his leg. His leg is completely broken." My eyes welled up with tears, and I cried, "Husband, what are we supposed to do now? What are you crying for? I'm not dead yet. I told you to go find a renowned doctor and uncover the mastermind behind this." Xiao Jing'an's ex press ion turned fierce. "The mastermind behind this?" I looked up in confusion. Zhou sighed and always said someone was trying to harm him, tampering with his horse. But the horse was thoroughly examined, and there was nothing wrong with it. In the end, we had to send the servant who was with him at the time to the authorities. But N refuses to believe it, insisting there's still a mastermind behind this who hasn't been found. Upon hearing this, I urged, "Husband, rest assured. I will have someone investigate this matter again. If someone truly intends to harm you, I will certainly uncover them." After speaking, I turned to Zosher and asked, "Mother, why isn't there even a servant in my husband's room?" Zosher glanced awkwardly at her son and whispered, "There are some. Just add a few more." You've been working hard these days. I'll take care of everything from now on," I said softly. Zou's mother sighed in relief. "That's good. I'll go back to the courtyard now. Take good care of Nur." "All right. Husband, you can't be alone now. I'll have more maids assigned to attend to you closely." Xiao Jing'an looked at his wife's face and felt extremely annoyed. The seeds of doubt he had before returning to the capital had taken root and sprouted during these days of bed rest. But he knew clearly that he didn't have the capital to break ties with her and the He family at this moment. He could only wave his hand impatiently and say, "You arrange it. Let me be alone." "All right. Since that's the case, I'll find a temporary courtyard nearby. Once my lord is well, I'll move back." I chose a courtyard neither too close nor too far from Xiao Jing'an. After settling in, I instructed Chuanhe, "Go find some beautiful, restless maids to attend to Xiao Jing'an." Chuanhe left immediately. I exhaled softly. Good days are coming, aren't they? 5 days later, the imperial edict granting Xiao Jing'an the title of Marquis of Wuan arrived at the Wuan Marquis mansion. After receiving the edict, I deliberately brought it to Xiao Jing'an to admire it. This made Xiao Jing'an furious again. In the end, I left the room feeling wronged. 3 days later, I returned to the Xianping Marquis family with my child. I asked my father about the matter of the eldest son of the Wuan Marquis family being killed. Was it their doing? The Marquis Xianping smiled and patted my head. Silly girl. Do you think your father is the kind of person without principles? This was truly an accident. It's all the fault of the Wuan Marquis family for failing to raise their children properly, resulting in such a nature. They deserve it. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. I kept this matter deep in my heart, afraid that my father would really fight for that title for me. Marquis Xianping asked me in detail about Xiao Jing'an. I told him everything without holding back, then sighed and said, "It's a pity that the spy we planted near Xiao Jing'an is gone. Father, please find a way to give his family more silver." Marquis Xianping nodded and snorted. "Xiao Jing'an is an ungrateful dog. If you don't deal with him, I will." After saying that, he sighed again. "It's all because your father had poor judgment. He thought he was a good man, but he ruined your life." "What are you saying, Father? What kind of person is he?" "You only find out after spending time with him and seeing how he handles things. I'm doing fine now. I have 2 children. It's just that their father is no longer reliable. In the future, we'll have to rely more on you and my older brother." My eyes welled up with tears. "You're talking nonsense. They're my own grandchildren. Of course I'll help them. If your brother dares to treat them badly, I'll break his legs," Marquis Xianping said fiercely. I couldn't help but laugh. Xiao Jing'an's temper was getting more and more violent, and sometimes he would even fall into a state of madness. The restless maids in the mansion were initially delighted when they were sent to Xiao Jing'an, but after a while, they cried and begged to leave. I had no choice but to replace them with sturdy, strong maids and servants. I even took the trouble to take a beautiful young maid who had been left behind and made her a concubine, so she could serve Xiao Jing'an alongside the maids. But the maids who were transferred away started spreading rumors about Xiao Jing'an. They said that Xiao Jing'an was not only incapable of fulfilling his marital duties but also enjoyed abusing people. He would beat and scold the servants at the slightest provocation. When this news spread, Lady Zhou, the old matriarch, nearly fainted. She rushed to Xiao Jing'an to demand the truth. I pretended to be surprised and asked Xiao Jing'an if it was true. Xiao Jing'an, furious and ashamed, drove us out. From then on, Lady Zhou was truly disheartened, handing over all the power in the mansion to me, and spent her days eating vegetarian food and reciting sutras. Due to Xiao Jing'an's violent temper and the lack of other capable people in the mansion, the Xiao family's businesses gradually fell into my hands. Thus, year after year passed. Xiao Jing'an's courtyard eventually had no maids left, and they were all replaced with male servants. I used the excuse that Xiao Jing'an was mentally unstable to seal off the courtyard and prevent anyone from entering or leaving. 7 years passed in the blink of an eye. Xiao Chen had grown into an adult and gotten married. During those 7 years, the old lady Zhou also passed away quietly one night. I was now in charge of the household. That evening, I carried a lantern and took only Chuanhe to Xiao Jing'an's courtyard. The servant who was supposed to attend to us had gone off to play somewhere, leaving the courtyard quiet and dark. I had someone light a candle and entered Xiao Jing'an's room. The room was filled with an indescribable odor. I pretended not to notice and walked calmly to Xiao Jing'an's bedside. Xiao Jing'an no longer resembled the handsome young man he once was. From years of lying in bed, his body was covered in greasy fat, making him look repulsive. "What are you doing here?" Xiao Jing'an asked coldly. Over the years, he had come to understand many things, but he could not prove them. Their relationship had reached an all-time low. I smiled. I made soup myself. "I'm bringing a bowl for my husband." Saying this, I took the food box from Chuanhe's hands and poured the soup into a bowl. Xiao Jing'an looked at me suspiciously. I carefully scooped a spoonful, blew on it gently, and fed it to Xiao Jingan's lips. Xiao Jingan turned his head away and refused to drink. I spoke softly. I simmered it for a long time. If my lord isn't hungry, there won't be any food tomorrow. And probably not for the next few days either. Xiao Jingan glared at me angrily. You poisonous woman. I raised the corners of my mouth slightly. My lord. Drink the soup first. You can scold me later when you have the strength. Xiao Jingan didn't know what He Yushuan was up to. But he knew she was telling the truth. Because she had done this before. Therefore, he obediently opened his mouth and drank. I said nothing more. Just spooned the soup into his mouth one spoonful at a time. After Xiao Jingan had drunk half a bowl, I smiled lightly, set down the bowl, and stood up. There's something else I need to tell you, so you won't die with doubts in your heart. Xiao Jingan heard my words and stared at me with wide eyes. I wasn't afraid. I spoke gently. Husband, you can't perform your marital duties because of the medicine I gave you. I put it in the tonic you drink every day. Zhang's concubine's child is actually yours. But look at you, you don't even believe it yourself. Yi's concubine? She was a pawn I brought back on purpose. Don't you know that in your heart? Oh, right. Your legs, that was also my doing. All these years. Have you enjoyed this feeling? Xiao Jingan's eyes bulged. And he wanted to shout. But the sound that came out was very small and weak. You poisonous woman. You poisonous woman. I'm going to report you. Oh, my husband. I'm afraid you won't have that chance. Because I also put poison in the soup you just drank. Now that Chinner is married and an adult, you should make way for him. So, you have to die. Xiao Jingan spat out a mouthful of black blood and tried to grab me. I took a few steps back and said softly, Xiao Jingan, did you think about this outcome when you betrayed me? In your next life. Don't do such a foolish thing. Among all the women in this world, you may avoid them, but you must never betray them. After all, the words you spoke to me when you were filled with tenderness were heard deep in my heart. Having said that, I did not look back at him once more, and walked out slowly with Chuanhe. As I left the courtyard, I glanced back at the gloomy courtyard. A tear slipped from my eye, disappearing into the darkness of the night. Let's go. There's work to be done tomorrow. I sighed softly. The night was dark and gloomy. In that courtyard, what was buried was not only that faithless man. It was also the truest feelings of my youth and the most beautiful memories. The end.